Peter Chang here, and welcome to part 35 of our SCX-60 CF build. And I've been testing out my car, and it's been running great, pretty good, and then ran it in my first race. And unfortunately, got in a little altercation between a HPI blitz and a tractor slash. And what happened was my front hinge pin got damaged, and also my front bulkhead got damaged as well too. And needless to say, the HPI Blitz also got damaged, and the tractor slash also got damaged too. What I'm going to replace it with is a anodized aluminum STRC front bulkhead and STRSC front hinge pin. And pretty much what I'm going to do is remove my RPM bumper, and I like to say proudly report that the RPM bumper did absorb much of the shock, and my X-Factory graphite nose piece is still intact, thankfully. It really was kind of a bad crash, and I also want to report that the X-Factory SCX-60 CF did perform admirably, and it was just my poor driving skill that actually got me involved in the crash. So, needless to say, everything was performing really well. If I was a better racer, I could have avoided being in the crash and being a part of the crash. But needless to say, these things do happen, and I just want to report that I highly advise maybe replacing the front hinge pin and the front bulkhead with maybe perhaps an aluminum one. And there's a ton of manufacturers, and also Team Associated also makes factory team parts for this as well too. However, I'm just kind of bitter with all the Team Associated stuff breaking so easily. Everything works great, the car runs fast. Unfortunately, what I'm experiencing now, and as I've been testing it, everything out, is that my Team Associated stuff tends to break very fast. So what I'm going to do is just replace this, and I feel like I'm actually going backwards. Instead of putting everything together, I'm tearing everything apart, and then I'm going to go ahead and replace this part and upgrade it. So pretty much when I screw everything back in, I'm going to go ahead and put everything back in as a star pattern as well. So this last screw is coming out a little more difficultly because I did use a thread lock. Alright, and let me remove the front hinge pin brace, and these are just tiny screws that go in this front hinge pin, so be careful not to lose them. Make sure you have a magnetic deck, and my magnetic deck of choice is actually the KRC workmat. So let me just pull this out here, and here we go. Let's go ahead and make sure this is nice and tight. It's not quite aligning. It is virtually the same piece. The manufacturing tolerance is actually pretty good. The fault lies with me. It's not the piece is not well engineered. I'm just not sliding it in correctly. There we go. Yeah, now it's fitting. Alright, let's screw this in, and I've sped up the film here, and I just want you to know that pretty much you want to use a star pattern. Star pattern just means you put in opposite sides in, and then instead of like going like left to right, you put in one side and you put in the opposite side in, and that actually gives it a much tighter build. There we go. So that last screw is in, and now we're going to go ahead and install the front hinge pin brace, and we'll go ahead and screw this in as well. And that's pretty much it. So once these two pieces are in, we do have a slightly more durable SCX-60 CF, and I highly recommend replacing this because these hinge pins from Team Associated are just pretty weak. So the front bulkhead will give if you get slammed from the left or right, or T-boned by another short course truck, and I highly recommend upgrading this part. Everything looks awesome, and I highly recommend the STRC components.